Aedes albopictus, commonly known as the tiger mosquito, is a black-colored insect with characteristic white stripes on its body. Particularly aggressive against human beings, the tiger mosquito is active during daytime, especially in the early morning and late afternoon fresh hours. Tiger mosquito bites are very irritating and they can provoke itchy and even painful red swellings, sometimes causing a great distress. In the tropical regions, the tiger mosquito can be vector of serious diseases. In Emilia-Romagna, a chikungunya outbreak developed in summer 2007. This is a disease characterized by high fever and joint pain, with a benign course. This episode shows that the problem is now present in Europe as well. The tiger mosquito is a native of Eastern Asian regions, where it developed in the rainforest. Since the second half of the last century, it was carried passively by ships and aeroplanes into several regions of the world. Today, the mosquito has adapted to some regions in tropical Africa, Northern and Southern America, in Europe, and in the Australasian archipelagos. Its ability to colonize different habitats from the original ones depends on its extraordinary biological plasticity, which enables it to realize very efficient adaptation processes. The first detection in Europe took place in Albania. It arrived in Italy in 1990 in Genoa with a cargo of used tires on which the mosquitoes had laid their eggs. In Emilia-Romagna it was observed in 1994 for the first time. In little more than a decade, the tiger mosquito colonized most territory. The colonization of a territory by tiger mosquito is a gradual process that lasts several years.
When the tiger mosquito arrives in a territory, at first it colonizes it in spotted areas, and this means there are few isolated outbreaks casually spread in a non-uniform way. In the advanced stage of colonization, the mosquito spreads in the whole urban territory, and the speed of this process depends on the environmental features. A survey conducted in our area, corresponding to the situation in Emilia-Romagna and reflecting at the same time the general Italian one, highlighted that the tiger mosquito populations were still undergoing an expanding phase. The first 3 quarters of the tiger mosquito life cycle occur in the water. Puddles with even small quantities of water are necessary for the mosquito to lay its eggs. Also, just above the water surface. Once these eggs are submerged by even a small amount of water, like stagnating water after rainfall, the larval cycle begins, and it ends up with the adult mosquito, which causes great trouble to man. This mosquito pretty well adapted to urban environment, and in order to lay its eggs, it chose development places like flower pot dishes, manholes, watering cans, bins and bottles left outdoors, as well as children's toys and other objects where stagnant water is to be found. It is important to underline that the tiger mosquito larvae have never been found in rivers, ponds, marshes or ditches. This means that it doesn't colonize such environments.
Our towns proved to be particularly favorable environments for the settlement of the tiger mosquito, which by now has well adapted, becoming a proper Italianized mosquito. In recent years, its presence was detected in very sunny squares, shopping centre parking, or industrial stocking areas where several sources of stagnant water exist, with filters and grates for the collection of rainwater. Like all other mosquitoes, the tiger mosquito has a life cycle composed of 4 stages: egg, larva, pupa, and adult. About 60 hours after the blood meal, females lay between 40 and 80 eggs, putting them just above the water surface. In the laboratory, it was observed that every female can lay eggs for 7 subsequent cycles, up to a total amount of 350 to 450 eggs each. The eggs of the tiger mosquito are laid separately and have a tapering shape. At the beginning they show a whitish color, but as the hours pass, they darken until they become shiny black. On their surface there are some tubercles that can be observed only under high magnification. The eggs can survive even for long periods thanks to a sophisticated physiological process which allows the mosquito to undergo an inactive life stage in order to overcome winter cold weather and summer drought. The last aquatic stage of the tiger mosquito, the pupal stage, can last between 2 and 4 days according to temperature. The passage from the egg stage to the definitive emerging of the adult takes 6 to 8 days in summer. In spring and autumn, it takes longer, up to 15 to 20 days. The ovitrap is a necessary instrument to observe the tiger mosquito, to monitor its populations, and consequently to direct the fight campaign. It's a black plastic cylinder with a masonite strip inside, submerged 3/4 under the water level. The ovitrap, laid on the ground in shady, easily accessible places, simulates an optimal site for mosquito to deposit its eggs. The masonite strips are periodically lifted up in order to count the eggs laid by the mosquitoes. In this way, an accurate estimation of the mosquito populations is feasible.
Using a number of ovitraps proportional to the area under surveillance, it is possible to monitor homogeneously the mosquito populations settled in the territory. Using this method, we can keep under control both the areas where the tiger mosquitoes still haven't settled in a definitive way, which are risk areas for colonization, and those areas where its presence is ascertained.
It is very important to know the biology and the habits of the tiger mosquito in order to prevent its spread, but is not enough to stop its progress. Above all, the fight against the tiger mosquito cannot be exclusively led by public administration, as it has been demonstrated that active outbreaks on public areas represent only 20 to 30% of the whole municipal territory. Field studies showed that a high percentage of tiger mosquitoes develop in private house gardens, on the balconies and terraces, in garden centres, and anywhere stagnant water is found. Some procedures are fundamental to fight this insect, starting from the need for elimination of all those pools of stagnant water where the mosquito can lay its eggs. It is therefore necessary to drain watering cans and turn them over after use, empty all water-filled containers, avoid using flower pot dishes or at least drain them every 2 days, cover tanks and all other containers for water collection with mosquito nets or tight canvases, avoid leaving heaps of stuff outside, like used tires or stacks of wood covered with canvases, and prevent the creation of stagnant water. Avoid leaving children's toys like pools and buckets outside and full of water. Keep gutters clean and cleared up, and keep manholes and drains clear. Put goldfish in pools and in ornamental fountains. They are predators of mosquito larvae, though it is important to remember that goldfish should not be introduced in natural areas like rivers and little lakes.
Besides eliminating stagnant water, it's also necessary to plan periodic treatments with special products that prevent the larvae development. These products are commonly available at a low price and have to be used from spring to autumn to disinfest manholes, drains, fountains, and in general, every container with any persisting stagnant water.
Within the project, experiments are conducted to understand if we can stop the development of the tiger mosquito through the sterile male technique. Great amounts of tiger mosquitoes are kept, among which or from which males are selected and sterilized through gamma-ray exposure. Sterile males, released in the environment, mate with females and interrupt their reproductive cycle. This is a very promising method, as it doesn't have any negative environmental repercussions, and it could contribute to the solution of the problem.
As with regard to scientific research, it's very important to keep sanitary risks under control. The mosquito populations are therefore monitored to observe the presence of viruses and other pathogens, like, for instance, the chikungunya virus detected in Emilia-Romagna in 2007. For the first time in Europe, an autochthonous outbreak of chikungunya developed during 2007. It's a disease caused by a virus spread by tiger mosquito bites. Chikungunya is an African term meaning a man which bends up. Incubation lasts between 3 and 12 days from an infected mosquito bite. The symptoms of this disease, which has a benign course, are high fever and strong joint pain. The temperature gets lower in a few days, while joint pain might persist for months. The first official epidemic of chikungunya was registered in Tanzania in 1952. Since then, several epidemics have been described both in Asia and Africa. The first European outbreak was described in Emilia-Romagna in August 2007, in the villages of Castiglione di Cervia and Castiglione di Ravenna. Fever was probably brought by a traveller who came back from Asia, where the virus is endemic. By mid-August, 47 cases had been reported and later confirmed by laboratory analysis. In the same period, the Regional Public Health Authority of Emilia-Romagna region worked out an active surveillance system involving all general practitioners and hospitals. The strong vector control measures against the tiger mosquito and their quick application helped in keeping the outbreak localized during the epidemic, chiefly in the areas of Cervia, Cesena, Ravenna and Rimini. As a whole, little more than 200 cases were registered. In November, the Italian Ministry of Health officially declared Emilia-Romagna a virus-free area. Control activities carried out by local institutions with the support of an emergency fund specifically allocated by the regional authority, the Emilia-Romagna region, focused their effects on the elimination of mosquito larvae and adult outbreaks. Insecticides were vaporized against the adult mosquitoes by moving vehicles along parks and urban areas. In order to catch adult insects with more precision, door-to-door control activities were implemented in private house gardens, with special vaporizing machines worn on the operator's shoulders. The fight against tiger mosquito larvae was intensified with the support of pump spraying larvicides in road drains, grates, black wall hitches, and used tire stores, and any other places considered ideal for egg deposition. In Italy, chikungunya has entered the number of infectious diseases monitored by the National Surveillance System. Also, at a European level, there's a major interest in controlling the trend of the disease and improving the knowledge of the virus cycle. This is due to the fact that a better knowledge of the risk factors and of the environmental conditions contributing to the diffusion of the tiger mosquito are essential conditions to prevent epidemics in the future. The most efficient measures to prevent the virus from coming back in spring and autumn, the only periods in which the tiger mosquito is active at our latitudes, are the prevention activities. Prevention and treatment activities carried out by institutions are not enough.
Buongiorno.
Active participation of citizens is required. They should take their responsibility in fighting the tiger mosquito. In recent years, many positive peer education experiences have been realized with citizens training other people and giving their active contribution to realize the prevention measures in the territory. On the website www.zanzaratigreonline.it, it's possible to read the alert bulletin, an instrument generated by the data collected during the monitoring phase.
Good morning. I am a Boy Scout and I would like to provide you with some suggestions to fight the tiger mosquito.
The Emilia-Romagna region implemented an experimental project for an integrated strategy for the fight against the tiger mosquito. The project derived from the awareness that local institutions cannot conduct this fight alone, and that a coordinated effort of citizens and institutions together is the only way to win the fight against the tiger mosquito. The tiger mosquito is not an exotic insect anymore. It's been living among us for more than 10 years. However, observing and getting to know it, we've identified by which means we can fight it. We just have to do it. And remember, only through the active involvement of all our citizens, we have a chance of reducing the problem significantly. Let's not give up then, but learn how to protect ourselves.